You're listening to High Frequency Healing on the Superpower Up podcast, the show that explores the awakening of superpowers through higher dimensional healing.
Hello, this is AngelaMaría, one of the Superpower Up hosts, and you are listening to High Frequency Healing Show. Awaken superpowers through higher dimension healing. The only difference between where you are to where you want to be is the actions you take here and now to heal your life. Let's take a deep breath and be here and now. I invite you to enjoy this time together. So here we go. Please, let's welcome Jennifer Bloome to my show today. We will be talking about a topic that I am passionate about. Soulful money matters. Jennifer Bloome helps you create an expansive and loving relationship with money so that you have the resources you need to live the life you want. She is a soul abundance guide, energy healer, and Master Soul Language Practitioner. She is the creator of Soul Language and Money, a tool that helps you from a personal relationship with the soul of money. Once you are in direct conversation with money, you can transform the relationship so you can receive what you want. Jennifer also trains and certifies other individuals in the paradigm of soul language and money. Please join me to welcome Jennifer Bloome to High Frequency Healing Show. Good morning. Hello, Jennifer. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing wonderful. I'm so excited to be chatting with you today.
I know, because we were having some issues to be able to connect at the same time, at the same moment, and I'm so grateful for your patience and understanding.
Oh, no worries. I'm glad we're here together now.
I know. Okay, Jennifer, let's start asking you, what's your healing superpower?
So my healing superpower is helping people reconnect the energy of love and money. So it's really about being able to get out of this love-hate dynamic with money, or really with anything that you want to create, with abundance in general. And I know we'll get into that more in a moment, but it's really about being able to get in, to allow yourself to be in that place of love and with what you want to create.
Allow yourself to be in that space of love. I love that, because I realized that one of the big burdens we have is that we don't give us permission to enjoy life and to do what we want and to have what we want. I love that, Jennifer.
Yeah, that is so true, isn't it? We think there are certain things we're supposed to do and be, and we just don't let ourselves have the things that we want.
Yeah, for some reason we have this program coming from I don't know where, that we need to work so hard, that life is to suffer, that life is to be struggling. And I just love that nowadays a lot of people are bringing a different conversation, a different idea and perception about how life should be. And yeah. I'm so glad that I am here with one of them. Jennifer, would you please take us back to your early years and name one memorable life lesson that is useful for you today?
Certainly. Well, it's interesting. I speak about money and creation, and I actually went through a bankruptcy. This was, more than 10 years ago now. I was working. I had my own business. My husband had a series of job layoffs. It was a really, really rocky time for us financially. And as I said, we ended up going through a bankruptcy. And at the time, I wasn't specifically talking about creating money. I was talking about creating fertility, inner fertility. So I was working with women and helping them create babies. But I was really right on the cusp of understanding that what I was teaching was more than just about creating internal fertility. It was really about creating fertility in a bigger picture. But the reason why that bankruptcy was such a turning point for me was what I realized that I was trying to make myself feel better inside by looking at my bank account. I was making, how well was my business doing? How many people was I helping? I was putting all my worth into the number that was in my bank account. And what that bank account kept showing me was I was not feeling any sort of self-worth. Right. And I went through a financial bankruptcy because I was going through an emotional bankruptcy. And so that was the time when I really I said, okay, now, what do I do now? But what led me to reconnecting with who I really am at a soul level, it helped me reconnect between myself and the divine, and understanding that my worth had nothing to do with anything I was creating here on the planet, money or otherwise. That here I am, I'm a unique strand of the divine, and my worth comes from there. So it allowed me to create this really strong foundation of who I am, and from there, I was able to create in a much different way. So while it was an embarrassing action, I felt a lot of shame at the beginning, it really transformed me into who I am today.
Wow, Jennifer. You know why I value the story you just shared with us? Because the more I go out and I meet people, the more I understand that a lot of people are struggling exactly with what you just mentioned, and is they have the idea that the more I work, if I get a work that pay me more, if I work more hours, and if I am, I don't know, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or one of those careers that usually we believe that they bring more money, then I'm going to be able to get out of this space of lack. Mm-hmm. And I know we're going to talk more about that because I've been there. Mm-hmm. You were talking and I was thinking, oh boy, am I really out of this space, or I am still there and I need to look at my emotional to see if I need to have another breakthrough? Because it's scary to be in that position of I don't have enough. It's scary when you just look at the bank account and you have on the other side a pile of bills to be paid, and the amount of money you need to pay, it's not even close to the amount that your bank account is showing. So I love this conversation. And before we keep on going, I would like to know, where can people go to find out more about you?
Absolutely. So they can come to my website, which is simply jenniferbloome.com, and there's a number of resources there that they can get started in learning more about myself and the work.
Perfect. And we've been talking with Jennifer Bloome about Soulful Money Matters. This is a different level of healing. This is really high frequency healing. So please, when we come back from this short break, we are going to talk more about her healing superpowers. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. This is Tonya Dawn Rekla, Executive Director of Superpower Experts, and we want to thank each of you for making Superpower Up the #1 podcast network for personal development and spiritual growth. Because people like you have the courage to say that mindfulness, healthy living, disrupting reality, the pursuit of consciousness, responsible entrepreneurship, and radical parenting matter, we now amass over 1 million downloads monthly in more than 90 countries. Our numbers keep growing because there are far more people willing to live divergently than mass media wants to acknowledge. For you, the change makers, the light bearers, the way showers, we say thank you. If you're ready to take the next step in your evolution, go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz. And as Nivali Rekla, our youngest podcaster, likes to remind us, remember, we all have superpowers and we can change the world.
We are back and you are listening to High Frequency Healing Show. Today, we are talking with Jennifer Bloome about Soulful Money Matters. Jennifer, was there a burning bush moment that made your heart desire changing your path in life besides the bankruptcy, or there was something else that made you think like, I just really need to just flip my life?
You know what? There was actually a moment, and it would have been about 10 years before the bankruptcy. So I was working at a job where I was actually, I'm trained as an occupational therapist, so I have a science background. And my family and I had just moved states, and I was sort of working as needed. I didn't have a full-time job, and I was feeling a lot of frustration, and I was feeling a lot of angst. I just knew there was something more that I was supposed to, and that's in quotes, because I don't necessarily believe in fate, but I was being pulled. My soul was pulling me towards something else. And in that moment, I was led to a program that connected me with health and wellness counseling. And that was really my first step into being able to create the work that I love to do so much, and to create a business for myself.
Mm. So Jennifer, what is abundance? What is money?
Right. And you know what? I'm glad you asked that as two separate questions, because abundance is so much more than money. I think a lot of times we get caught up in this trap of, I want to be abundant, and we think that it's all about money and something that we can tangibly hold in our hands. But abundance is so much broader than that. Abundance is really all the things that we get to experience here on the planet. We can have wrapped up in abundance. I think of as nature, as art, love, relationships, right? All of those aspects make up abundance. And then money is simply one of the resources that we get to use that allows us to trade for something of abundance that what we want, right? If I have abundance, I can go see all the musicals that I love to go see, or if I have money, I can trade it for that abundance, right? Of that joy. So they really are two. Money is a part of abundance.
Mm. What is then to be a soul abundance guide? Because I just read that title and I said, oh my God, I want to be that too.
So, okay. So to me, what it means to be a soul abundance guide is I am helping you reconnect with what your soul desires. So it goes back to the comments that you were making, right? If there's not enough money in the bank and we have lack and we think we're going to work, what we need to do is we need to work harder, right? We need to be a doctor or be a lawyer or do some doing action to create more of a resource. But if what we do instead is we pause and we connect to our own souls, we allow ourselves to do the step that is going to work the best, and that is be. We are going to allow ourselves to be in connection, to feel what our soul wants, and then create a doing step from there. So let me give you an example, because that's a little bit that's not very tangible. So for example, one way I connect to my soul is through a paradigm called soul language. And we have 3 different languages. One of them is a mission language. And my mission language is pioneer. So a pioneer is somebody who is always looking for a new road, a new way of thinking about something, a new way of doing something. So if I thought, back when I was working, and if I had lack, that what I needed to do was just keep working the same thing over and over and over again, that's really going against what my soul is really crying out for. Mm-hmm. My soul is always going to cry out for something new. So as a soul abundance guide, I get to help people understand what their souls are really crying out for and help them learn to connect with their soul. And then you get to participate with life in a way that your abundance comes through ways that makes your soul sing.
I love that. How was the creation of soul language and money? Because I have had the experience of the soul language and with Jennifer, and she was in one of my shows some weeks ago. And I went through that, and I loved it, and it just really make a big difference in my life, and especially my business, from a clarity of the perspective, what my soul wanted to go through. What was the experience, as you said before, that my soul wanted to experience. But then you said that you kind of create these of soul language and money. How was that process?
Right. So that was a process of connecting with the energy of money and connecting in with the soul language team and hearing from them how all of these different energies of soul impact our relationship with money. Okay. So one of the things I think that's really important to remember is that money isn't just something that, okay, so I do a job and I get money. That's actually the last part of the cycle with money. We are actually in relationship with the energy of money. Money is simply one facet, one part of the divine, right? And anything, we can have a relationship with any of that energy. And so soul language helps you, the soul language and money aspect helps you understand what you're putting into your relationship with money, whether you're in a really conscious way with money or whether you're sort of acting out of pattern and fear and lack, right? And so it helps create a more tangible relationship with money.
More tangible relationship with money. And what I'm getting of what you just said and the answers in the last questions, Jennifer, is that we really need to tune into the frequency of money. It's and I think that's the struggle that this society and this culture nowadays have. It's because that's not how we were raised. That's not the message we have listened from our parents or teachers or school or education, because we always had a different perspective about money. And we just need to approach that resource from the intangible world, not just from bills or coins. I think it's exactly where we are just breaking up that relationship, and we are really hurting that relationship with money, because it's really like you are tuning, I don't know, 105.9, expecting to listen some Latin music, but that is the classical music frequency. That is a dial for classical music, but you keep on tuning there because you are expecting that at some point Latin music is going to be played at that station. And I think that is exactly what we need to start just thinking about it and make this energy shift and start just healing that relationship from a more perspective of consciousness, understanding that money is not just a thing that we need to acquire in exchange from our work or from the energy that you put into, 8 hours per day working in an office.
That absolutely 100% agree with you. We tend to look at money from the outside, like you said, bills, coins. It's something that I get. It's something I get in trade for giving. I give you, employer, 8 hours of my time, and now you're going to give me money, and that's part of the process. But as I said, it's the end part of the process, and we've been conditioned to think about money as power, money is our worth, money is you can't get anywhere in the world without money, right? Money talks. Money is, as I said, money is power, and it really is. Not to make it sound harder than it needs to be, but it really is a paradigm shift, right? What we need to do is turn internal first. And and learn to say, okay, money is just, in quotes, another part of the divine. I can connect with it just like I can the divine. I can have a conversation with it. I can learn how my soul prefers to do money or to be in relationship with money. I can get support, and I can start to do my relationship with money in a brand new way that's going to feel really supportive to me.
Jennifer, and so how to guide people, how to show people, how to help people to start doing that shift? Because of course they can get an appointment with you, they can just work with you, but just be honest. If some people are struggling with money, the first, and I've been there, the first excuse is, but that's why I need you, because I don't have money, so I cannot afford your services. And it's funny because exactly when I was going through a really hard financial situation, that was the answer of all the clients I was attracting. Everybody was saying exactly my same excuse. So how can we just guide these people to start just making the shift? I know for personal experience, it's not a rule of three. Do this, and then boom. I have gone through a lot. I have even connected to past lives where I give up the power of creating money. I said, I don't want money. I don't need money. I'm going to do my job. And I was a witch or like shaman. And I was giving everything for free because I had this belief that if that came from God, I couldn't charge. So I knew, and I have gone through a lot in my past lives where I really gave up money. Literally, I said, I don't need it, I don't want it. And in fact, my first experiences in this life related to money, I always said, for many years, I don't need money. The only thing that I need is to have just enough to pay my bills and pay for food. That was my message during years. So it has been a paradigm shift, and like rewire my mind and even my ADN. I do believe that information from the past was inserted, and I do believe there is something left in my ADN. So how could we start just telling people, hey, we know where you are. We understand exactly where you are. We've been there. Let's start here.
Yes. Okay. So the first place I would start is asking yourself, how do I feel about money? So, and again, this is something, I have been in that place where I've had $10 in the bank account, 3 children to feed, and there's no money coming in the foreseeable future, right? I understand that. And it's really easy to be in a place of fear and lack because it's true, right? Your bank account is telling you what is true. But what you absolutely have to start doing is changing how you feel in the moment. So in the moment that you're starting to feel a little bit of fear, that's when you get to stop and you get to take a breath and you get to say, okay, I'm going to take a breath here. And what else is true? Well, I'm breathing, right? We're taking it really basic. I'm breathing. I have a roof over my head. Maybe I have some resources I can tap into if I really need to. If I get in trouble, I have friends, family, whatever, right, to help. But in this moment, I'm safe. I'm safe with money. I have what I need in this nanosecond, okay? So, and then it's a matter of building momentum. So the more we receive back, right? The basic law of attraction says whatever we're feeling, we get back experiences that match that feeling. So we want to build that momentum of feeling safe, feeling trusting that things can change as you change. Okay? So that's the very, very, very first step, is being able to change how you feel. Now, there's a lot of tools out there that can help. One of the tools I love is emotional freedom technique, tapping, as it's called in the mainstream now. I've been teaching EFT since 2001. There are a lot of free resources online, but that's another. So if you can use a tool to help you release those internal feelings, that can be another step. Right? And then as you're building that foundation, you can start to ask yourself some of the other questions, some of the things that you just spoke about. How willing am I to receive? Honestly, this is where you sort of get to maybe you do a little bit of journaling, if that's a tool that works for you, and say, if I'm honest, what are the rules that I have in place for receiving? I know in my life, I had a lot of rules, right? I needed to prove value. I needed to, things needed to be given free and clear. I had a lot of things that were sort of standing in the way to receiving. Right? So as you start to ask some of those questions and become aware of some of your patterns, that's when you get to begin to make some small shifts that are going to build your momentum. Listen, I think that when we are in fear and lack, what we want more than anything is, I just want my bank account to be full. I'll feel safe when that bank account is full. But if you can allow yourself to gain that steady momentum, it'll actually go faster. It's really hard to jump from a place of fear and lack into a knowing of abundance. So again, if you can let it be a step-by-step process, you are going to build faster and faster to a point where your bank account is full.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I do believe that we are the creators of our realities. And I also do believe that there is one reality outside and it's another reality inside. And the reality outside is just a reflection of the reality inside. That's why I love that what you just shared, because this is just changing my reality inside. You didn't say, go look for a part-time. You didn't say, go get a certification in something that really brings the money you're waiting or expecting. You just talk about that inner world. Because if we change that inside, then we can create a different reflection of the reality that is outside. But some of us, a lot of people in this world, they just believe in the reality that is out there. What they haven't realized is that reality out there is just a projection of your inner reality. So thank you so much for validating this and for opening up that field of the unknown. And just trust that whatever you have done for a while is just not working. Your account keeps on showing you you're in luck. But you're not in luck because you don't have money. You're in luck because your energy is just going to a different place, and that's where you are manifesting. So I would love, just for curiosity, Jennifer, if you can share with us one of those experiences with one of your clients that validates how powerful this work inside with the energy of money inside is.
Absolutely. So I was working with a woman who she's actually she works with animals. So she's a pet sitter. She communicates with animals, and she'd been working on this career for a long time. And she was having a really hard time raising her rates. I mean, I think she'd been working at her business for, I think she had told me 20 years, and she'd maybe raised her rates once, right? Or twice in that time period. And it wasn't able to support her in the way that she needed to be supported. And she said, I keep trying to raise the rates, but every time I try to raise my rates, I get too afraid and I can't do it. And so the part of the work that sparked her to go in a different direction was remembering that money is a relationship. And what she realized was that she was heaping all of this fear and worry on money. She was coming she was coming to the table, so to speak, with all of this fear and worry, and of course she couldn't receive anything back. So we did a lot of work where she was able to understand that this was truly a relationship, and she learned her money languages. She and was able to do some dialogue there, but it was this fundamental understanding that it was a relationship. And she said, well, how do I want to show up? If I'm in a friendship and I'm always afraid that, and if I'm always afraid that other person is going to walk away from me, what's going to happen? Well, they're ultimately going to walk away, right? Nobody wants to be in a friendship where you're always saying, hey, are you really coming over? Are you really going to come? Oh, I don't believe you. You're not really going to. I want you to, but oh, you're really not, right? Nobody wants that. So she was able to stop and breathe and say, okay, I want to show up in this relationship. And as she did that, she found the courage to raise her rates, and she found the courage to stick with it. And she said it was just amazing. People, as she raised the rates, just hardly even blinked. They're like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And so that was really telling for me, that this is so important to remember that you are in relationship with money, right? And as you understand your specific relationship with money, you get to take the action steps, because there will be action steps in this 3D world, but you get to know which action steps are most important for you.
Oh my God, that is really revealing. This is just really showing that, and again, it's the way you are inside. And maybe part of the relationship you have with money and it's broken is because it's also the kind of relationship you have with yourself, with the people next to you, around you. And again, this is an invitation to go and be an observer of your own life, be an observer of your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, be an observer of the way you say things, the way that you talk about money, about relationships, the way that you do things. What is the energy? What is that impact that you are putting in every single action that you do out there? Because that is the energy that comes from inside. What kind of energy are you putting in those actions that are now really giving the fruits or blossoming as you are expecting them to do? So before we finish, you talk about the conversation with money. You already shared with us what to do to start like that healing process, how to start just reconnecting from a different perspective with money. But I would like to know how to begin that conversation with money. It's something that you just do casual. It's something that you need just to go inside and meditate. What would be those initial steps before people can go and work with you in a more formal way to start just getting that feeling of the energy of money from a different perspective?
Absolutely. How about if I just walk us through a really short process, if that's okay?
Please, that would be awesome. So let's get ready. I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So if you're someplace where you can close your eyes, I'm going to invite you to do that.
Please, and if you are driving, don't do it.
Please
listen to it later.
Exactly. Please, please, please. All right. So take a couple of deep breaths. And I'm going to ask you first to bring your awareness down to your feet and feel the solidity of Mother Earth below you and your connection with the earth, between the earth and your body. Breathing the safety of the earth into your body. And then let's bring your attention up to the top of your head and feel your connection between you and the divine, God, Goddess, nature, whatever your word is for that which is more than us. And just breathe that beautiful connection into your body. Connecting body and soul. And then let's bring your attention down to your heart center. Imagine that your consciousness, your mind can drop into your heart, and don't worry about how to do it. Just imagine that it can. So you bring your awareness right into the center of your heart and take a couple of breaths here. And now, as you're centered in your heart, with your body and your soul connected, let's just make a simple request. Ask divine intelligence to create a conscious connection between you and the energy of money. And just take a couple of breaths as you let that connection come into place. And just notice what you're feeling. And if your mind wants to tell you, I don't know how to do this, just say, shh, thank you. Just come back into your heart, take another breath. And again, as we've asked for that connection, it's present. And depending on how you get your information, you might get an image, you might feel a sensation in your body, you might hear some words, you might just sort of have a knowing that it's present. And if you haven't practiced this kind of technique before, I would try it several times, because the more you connect, the more information that you'll get. So just take one more breath in. Let's thank the energy of money for showing up in whatever form that it did, and knowing that you can always come back to this connection. Go ahead and open your eyes. So I'm curious, what was your experience?
Oh, Jennifer, be ready. It was so weird. It was dark. Suddenly it was dark. And it was like a line between me and money. Money was at the end. It was just like the symbol for money. And it was a good route. It was fine. And suddenly it broke. Like, have you seen the heart exams when you have that monitor and you're at the hospital and it shows you how your heart is going?
Sure, yep.
It was breaking up right there, and then it continues until money. So it stopped. So it was straight, okay? Then this thing coming down, up and down, and then again straight until it gets to money. But this is the beautiful thing that I got, because I just saw the image, and then I was saying, whoa, now I understand why I haven't gotten where I want to be. And then it was beautiful because it says, we still need to work things out.
And that's okay, right? But what you're getting is information directly for you, right? I could never have come up with that image for you, ever, right? And so as we start that internal connection, you get internal messaging. And now you could go back and you could ask, you could talk to your soul if you wanted to, you could talk to the energy of money and say, what's the next step to healing this relationship? Or what's the next step to smoothing the path? And start to get that kind of information. Right? It gets to be an ongoing conversation between you and money, because you have a very personal and specific relationship that's going to be different than mine. We have similar components, but you're always going to get your information.
Yeah, especially because I believe that we have a different story from this life, from past lives. It's just different situations that have affected that relationship with money. But this was really revealing. I would love our listeners to share in the comments after the interview. If you go to our page and then you go down, it says comments. I would love just to read some of your comments. What did you get? And listen what Jennifer said. Just not do it once, do it more than once, and then keep asking things and go to the next level. What needs to be? Who do I need to be? It's more than what I need to do, because I believe, Jennifer, that if you ask what you need to do, then it's going, again, that mind telling you, go work, find more hours, find a different part-time. And it's just more about who do I need to be? Or I love the one that you said, what's the next step to heal this relationship? And share with us. I would love to read those comments and just see what's going on out there.
Yes, I would love to know too. And absolutely, that would be very interesting.
Because I love this topic, because in my experience, in my life, as a soul realignment practitioner, working from the ninth dimension with the Akashic records, and being guiding and helping and being light for many, many lives, I realized that money is a huge spiritual master. And if we start just taking all of these lessons of struggle and lack and worry as this is a big opportunity for me to create a different reality, and money is just showing me how, money is just showing me where do I need to put my attention, where my energy needs to be, that is going to take you to a different level. I can't tell you how fast. It depends how willing you are to take the lesson and do the homework.
Absolutely. And I love what you just said, because, I think that a lot of us worry, well, if I work on my money relationship, isn't that just going to make me materialistic, right? Mm-hmm. Or, and there's nothing wrong with things. Absolutely nothing wrong with things. I believe that we expand ourselves and the universe through our desires. And whether that desire is to be of service or whether that desire is to have a warm, comfortable home, they can be the same. Mm-hmm. And we can create the same amount of deeper spiritual connection no matter what we're asking for. And money is an amazing teacher, because there's, when you're saying, oh, what I want is a deeper connection with God, that's an amazing desire, but it's also hard to measure. When you say, I want to improve my relationship with money, it's pretty easy to see how that bank account is changing, right? So you get feedback very immediately, and you're really doing the same thing. When you're improving that relationship with money, you are improving your relationship with God. What you're doing is you're coming back into alignment with your own divinity. Mm. It's not a materialistic act at all. It's really one of the most divine things you could do.
I love what you said. And I would add that that's why it's so important that you identify what are your beliefs about money. In my experience, religion took a big part of it. I was raised as a Catholic. And if you know something about Catholicism, there are some expressions in the Bible. One of them was the one that really, really, really make a impact of in my life and this relationship with money. And it's, if you're poor, you can be in heaven, basically. But if you're rich, you won't fit in heaven. And that was painful to me. And that's why I realized that at the beginning of this experience, this life, I said, I don't need money and I don't want money. I just need just enough, because I didn't want to go to heaven.
Right.
So start going back and think about what are those beliefs you have about money. Exactly the ones that Jennifer was mentioning before. Look about your religion. Do you really feel enough to have money? If you're thinking about yourself in the future, can you really get in contact to the emotion of being a millionaire? Of going to any place you would like to go? But if you get to that idea, and then there is a feeling saying, but you don't need that. That is not good. That is being materialistic. All of those beliefs are limiting your relationship with money. It's not just about what you do out there. It's about how you are inside. What are you thinking? What are you feeling about money? Jennifer, I cannot express how grateful I am for this conversation, and how like this conversation makes my hope go higher. Just thinking that there is a possibility for us, for this world, for this planet, to create, to heal, to reactivate, to reconnect a different kind of relationship with money that comes from inside. This is high frequency healing. It's not about out there, it's about what is inside. What have been my experiences created? And now it's my time to take my power back and say, hey, no, I understand. This is the way that I grew up. This is the messages I've heard. This is the society where I choose to be. but now I made the decision to create something else. And the job and the work you're doing, Jennifer, is big, is huge. That's why I cannot wait for November, because Jennifer, for you guys to know, whoever is listening to me who speaks Spanish, I have a very small channel in YouTube. We are like 500 people. It's really small compared to this podcast. I invite Jennifer and she said, I'm in. So Jennifer is going to be in my YouTube channel that is in Spanish. My husband is going to be translating, because I want to take this message to the world. For me, money has been a huge teacher. I have a program now with money that I haven't feel that I'm ready to launch, because I'm thinking I need to fix this relationship all the way with money before I put that message out there. But when I met Jennifer, I said, hey, this is the opportunity. She figured it out. She's now doing it. Now she can just help me to start opening this huge gap, especially in the Latin world, with money. So thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you so much, all of you guys who are listening to me today with this podcast, with this topic, because I really, really, really do believe that soulful money matters. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me. It was a delight to have the conversation.
And thank you, all of you, for joining us. I am AngelaMaría, Conscious Creation. Change actions, shift energy to live heaven down here on earth. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.